to Swarthmore College. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Pat Donaghy. I coached the 2018s. I lived in Minnesota for 8 years, and I'm pretty thankful to be seeing you guys every summer now. I also graduated from Swarthmore College, so we could talk more. If anybody's looking at D3 schools, we can certainly talk about that. But I just wanted to introduce you guys to the HEADstrong Foundation through Jason here, who's going to talk. But raise your hand, show of hands, who here has heard of the HEADstrong Foundation before, right? Who here really knows what they do, or you know what I mean? Like, who knows? There's a difference. You've heard of it, but what they do is a little bit different, a little bit foreign. The reason why, you know, I learned about this foundation 9 years ago. My brother played at Hofstra, and I remember walking through a stadium and hearing a bunch of guys yelling at me, "Come over here, we're raffling a helmet. We're raffling a helmet that's signed." I said, "Okay," and I walked over there, and they're like, "Our brother's in the hospital, he's got cancer, and we're just trying to raise money for other families that are affected by cancer." I mean, I had no idea. They didn't even have a name at that point. And that turned out to be the HEADstrong Foundation. It was, who here wants to play like lacrosse in college, right? A lot of hands go up. Imagine you're 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, and you go to your school, and you go to Hofstra, and you could play lacrosse. Now you're playing Division I lacrosse with your brother. And one day in the fall, he gets tapped on the shoulder to go meet with the coach. And they're sitting there as their parents, and he finds out he's got cancer. When he's in the hospital, he learns about people who need financial help. And while he's sitting there, a 19-year-old, 20-year-old decides that he wants to start a foundation to help people affected by cancer. So he ended up passing away, but the foundation lives on and lives on incredibly strong. So yesterday they just broke ground on a house to help house people. It's right around the corner here, to help families that are affected by cancer. So today we were fortunate to have Jason come down. Jason is his son right now is undergoing chemo, 4 years old, undergoing chemo in CHOP right in Philly, and for a couple times, and he'll go into a story. But here's somebody, if you've given money, if you've paid for laces, if you've given money to the foundation, you're helping out Jason and his family and other people. So with that, I'm just going to let him tell his story on that.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, guys. This is all kind of foreign to me. I'm not a big lacrosse guy. I was talking to Pat earlier. Where I grew up, I don't think any high schools have lacrosse. So I've been learning a lot about staying at the HEADstrong Foundation because, frankly, I don't know a lot about lacrosse. Pat kind of alluded to it earlier, but Nick and Mike Calalori, they were the ones who really kind of had this idea of the HEADstrong Foundation. I mean, a very quick story. I don't want to take up too much of your time. A very quick story is Nick was in the hospital for sometimes 6 weeks at a time. Nick Calalori, and his dad was in the parking garage, and these two parents came up to him and said, "Hey, where have you been showering? Because we're staying here and we have nowhere to shower." And Pat said, "You have nowhere to shower?" And the Calaloris are from this neck of the woods, right down the street. So Pat Calalori, the dad, gave him the keys to his house and said, "Take your family to my house, shower, sleep, whatever you need to do." And he told Nick that story, who at the time was only 19 years old, in college, playing D1 lacrosse, and he's going through cancer treatment, and the only thing on his mind is helping other people. So he thought, this is ridiculous. He said, this is at 2005 at the time, and how our family's still not having a place to shower. So he had the idea for that foundation, and because of his roots in lacrosse, he thought, what better of a way to kind of start spreading the word but lacrosse. So for me personally, my son Benjamin was diagnosed at the age of 3 with kidney cancer in his left kidney, stage 3 cancer. So that was July 4th of last year, so about a year ago today. He went through 6 months of chemotherapy treatment, radiation treatment, and surgery. He had his left kidney removed. And in January, he was given the word that he was cancer-free, which was great. All of our treatment was done here in Philadelphia. In April, we got the bad news that it came back to his lungs. So now he has cancer in his lungs. So when cancer comes back, it's called a relapse. and the treatment is much more intense. So for a 4-year-old, his chemotherapy is week-long chemotherapy, inpatient the whole time. So he's inpatient for anywhere from 3 to 5 days, getting chemotherapy for 5-6 hours a day. And then he has 2 weeks of a recovery period, which are followed by blood transfusions. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's had 6 blood transfusions. And when we were first told all this, we had no idea what we were going to do. I mean, financially, I have a decent job. My wife had to quit her job as a kindergarten teacher because she had to take care of our son full time. So we live about 2 hours away on a good day in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, which is closer to Jersey, north of here. But hotels sometimes could be upwards of $150, $250. We've paid $380 when the hotel had nothing else. So there were times when we were just paying that out of pocket because we had nowhere to stay. So we were really in a bind. We had no idea what we were going to do. Financially, we weren't going to be able to do this the whole time because this new treatment's going to last from April, probably 8 or 9 more months, maybe a year. And our social worker at the hospital named Beth said to us, "Oh, have you ever heard of Nick's House?" And I said, "No, I have no idea what Nick's House is." So we looked it up. We found that Nick's House is an apartment that the HEADstrong Foundation gives totally free of charge to any family undergoing cancer treatment in the Philadelphia area. So we called them, and luckily they said, actually, the family who's living here is leaving today, so if you want it, come move in. So that was late April, early May, and since then we've been staying in Philadelphia. We got to know the Calalori family, heard about the legacy of Nick, his brother Mike, Dan, and Pat. And for us, honestly, I don't know where we would be without it. I mean, financially, emotionally, I have a year-old daughter too, who usually has to stay with grandma, but now that we have a house down here in Philly, we can bring her down with us. Our family can be together again. So for us, the impact it's hard to even explain to you guys because it's just so immense that it's hard to get the right words to say it. And then what's cool is yesterday at the groundbreaking, we met all these different sorts of people, and today's the same thing, right? You guys might not know. I mean, you buy a pair of shoelaces, you buy some shorts, you do a tournament, you might think, what's this actually doing? But I mean, for me, it's doing everything, right? So it's making my family be able to live together. It's making my life easier. So seeing all you guys, really, you're part of my family, right? Because you're giving me a place to live. You might not know that. So if there's any chance in the future you guys have to buy a small pair of shoelaces or help out in any way you can, just know that it's not for nothing. It's for the Calaloris, the HEADstrong Foundation, and it's for regular families like me. So thank you guys.
So realize that the HEADstrong Foundation, and I see, bracelets out there. It's pretty cool. I realize that any money that raised towards the HEADstrong Foundation does really help families. And the reason why I feel like this talk is so special, we've got, number one, some of the best coaches around that hopefully you can go back to your programs and talk about the foundation and maybe, raise money and somehow. But players, I mean, raise your hand if you're a captain of your team or a captain of JV if you've been a captain before, right? And a lot of you guys are going to be captains as well. You guys are leaders not only on the field, but a lot of times in the classrooms and in the locker room. So my challenge to a lot of you is do something about it. Do something that helps other families. You're in a position where you can do this kind of stuff. You're a leader, you're a captain, you're influential. Do more than just be a good lacrosse player. Give back. The same way a lot of us coaches are out here giving back to help you guys out. You guys in turn can do something about it when you get back to Minnesota. And it's going to start, I think, some of the coaches chipped in and we got laces. We got HEADstrong laces for you all to wear. Now, it's feel free to wear them. It's up to you if you don't want to, but obviously wearing them is going to support it. But the way I always look at these laces, I love them. It was the first item that the HEADstrong Foundation put together, And for me, when you're playing a lacrosse game and you're tired, what do? Where do you look? Right? You typically look down. And what are you going to see? You're going to see those laces. I'm sure in order, you're going to think of Nick. Nick fought the battle of his life, and he was thinking about other people. If he could fight back when he was tired, if Ben can fight back when he's tired, you guys can fight back in the lacrosse field and do more than that. When people ask you about the laces, tell them what you know about the foundation, and spread the word out in Minnesota. It's pretty well known over here, but I'm sure the foundation can use your help, and families like Jason can use his help. So with that, we're going to have laces for everyone, and Jason will hand them out for you guys to be able to wear when you get back to the hotel room.